Yeah, and look, the probably the two things that we deal with once we have anniversaries of our 39th birthday is probably the prevalence of dry eye is a bit higher.
Mm,
So we have to
mm,
be looking at managing that as part of our entry into contact lens wear, because contact lenses do demand more of your tear film.
mm,
So
mm,
we want to make sure that you're able to be comfortable. Maybe even just choosing the right, the right kind of lens material can help with that. Probably the second biggest factor is that if you were someone who wore a distance correction for, say, astigmatism or for
mm,
myopia when you were younger, when you were short-sighted, you would find that you had a single vision lens, corrected your distance, and it didn't matter what you picked up. You could look at something close, you look at something further away,
mm,
and you could see clearly at all distances because and I'll use the model from last time. Okay, the
mhm,
crystalline lens inside our eye changes shape, okay,
mhm,
when we're younger, and that's what defines what happens when you are in your 40s and 50s, that this lens starts to become less flexible. So the prescription you have to maintain good distance vision is different to the prescription you need to read. And that's when people start talking about wearing multifocals or bifocals or having to take reading glasses on and off and all of that sort of frustration. And so that's something that we're sort of dealing with when we look at what are the alternatives to wearing glasses. And we have to do effectively what we call a provide a depth of focus or simultaneous vision. So
mm,
rather than it being a multifocal kind of situation, which is different to the whole finding the spot in the glasses to wear, is that we set you up where you've got um, focusing available at all distances, and your brain has to use how to learn them. So there's a little bit of
mm,
getting the brain to learn how to do it, that is entirely possible. It's we're not too old to learn, and again, it goes back to the patient's discussion. We need to be patient to understand that if we're really motivated to get some freedom away from glasses, then the brain needs to learn how to use these depth of focus lenses. And so there's a couple of ways we can do that. And one of the old methods was called monovision.
right.
So we had one eye corrected for distance, one eye corrected for near. The brain was able to use the peripheral vision from both eyes together, but then it would selectively choose which eye it was using for, say, the detail at near versus the detail at far. And if we're going to do that kind of correction, we can do that in a contact lens or Ortho-K. So the overnight lenses that you sleep in, we can set up someone with a monovision kind of situation. It's a little trickier in Ortho-K than fitting just distance only. We need to sort of carefully choose who's going to be a good candidate or not.
Mm,
If someone's a good candidate for that, the advantage is that you're not wearing any lenses during the day, so it somehow negates those mild dry eye kind of situations.
mm,
Uh, and we obviously check that as a case by case sort of basis.
right.
Yeah, probably the thing that we're doing more of is the multifocals and multifocal. And again, we prefer to use the word depth of focus, where you're wearing a contact lens on each eye that has both distance and near vision available, and your brain, over time learns to use which part of that focal length for various distances.
So the magic of Ortho-K is that it reshapes, at least temporarily, it reshapes the cornea, the front surface of your eye, doesn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and that's something where with short-sightedness, it's been very commonly used, and there's a few of us who are using it for that more long-sightedness kind of treatment. We have to be a bit more selective about who it works for, but if you've got someone who's motivated and getting a little bit of dry eye with contact lenses, that's certainly an option we might look at.